Welcome to my little red Jeep. From time to time, I share tips and tricks on how you can reduce firestop headaches on your projects. Let's face it, firestop can be a major pain in the butt. And all it takes to reduce the majority of those headaches is a little bit of pre-planning. So today I want to share with you one of my favorite tips, and it's called a no-fly zone. I don't know if you've heard of this before. So a no-fly zone starts with pre-rock. You guys might call it something else, but I'm going to explain it the way I know it. So pre-rock is just the idea that you put the framing members up, and then before all the trades start running their services way up top, you put up pre-rock. So you throw the drywall up so that when the electrician and the plumber and everybody else starts making holes, they can have individual holes for each of their services, rather than when the services are all run and the drywaller then has to come and your fire rated wall is literally like Swiss cheese. That is no way to build a fire rated wall with any integrity whatsoever. So a lot of people are doing this whole pre-rock thing. If you call it something else, I'm really curious to know what it's called in your area. So please hop in the comments and let me know what you call it. But I want to get back to the no-fly zone. The no-fly zone is the idea that you take your pre-rock area and then you tell all of your MEP trades you're not allowed to run any service elements through from the underside of the concrete deck down a certain distance. Now, what should that distance be? There's a number of different variables, but by telling people that you can't run everything high and tight to the underside of the concrete deck, what you're doing is you're giving an opportunity for people to actually be able to have their firestop elements perform adequately. Let me explain. So what you're doing with the no-fly zone is actually creating this space where all of your penetrations are going to go through that wall below the location of the joint. I can't tell you how often I see an array of different trades. The electrician, for example, they're going to tuck their conduits up and they're going to fasten it right to the underside of the deck. And then what happens? That conduit is going through straight at the head of wall joint. If you read the codes and the standards, you're not allowed to have any penetrations through in that location. And the big reason why is not just you're not meeting the code requirements, or not just you can't comply with the standards. The real reason is if there's any movement in that building, and the bigger your building, the more chance of movement. If there's any movement in that area, then you're risking any of your fire resistance rated joints not being able to accommodate the movement. You're also potentially risking damaging those services when there's movement. And if you're damaging any of those elements, your services or your rated wall, guess what? Your firestop's going to get jacked up too. Another problem you might run into, and this time we're not going to pick on the electrician. Let's pick on the HVAC contractor. So if your ductwork is slammed high and tight to the underside of the deck, you know what's going to happen? You're going to firestop across the top about an inch, down one side, across the bottom, up the next side, and in about an inch. And then whatever span that duct makes, you're going to have a fabulous opportunity for smoke and toxic gases to penetrate through your fire resistance rated wall. Guess what? That's also going to cause problems if that wall happens to be part of your smoke containment. So when you go through and you try and do your smoke tests, you're going to have problems, and guess what? It's going to be right at the top of that duct, or the top of that conduit bank, or the top of that run of pipes. Keep that in mind the next time that you're building a big project. So I would love to hear what you think of having a no-fly zone in your project. Have you ever done it? If you have, what do you think of it? What were the biggest takeaways that you got? If you're thinking about trying it, let me know. There might be some other things that I can offer that would provide a little more guidance. So if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. For now, it's Friday and we're going into a 3-day weekend, so I am going to go have some fun, and I hope you are too. My name is Sharon, and I'm with Halpert Life Safety Consulting. If you want to build better, we want to help. And I hope this little tidbit will help you do just that. Thanks so much for your time.